Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Tilting Ground Untitled Notre Dame USC Football Podcast. I'm Michael Muto. I'm here with Notre Dame expert Greg Pomang. How's it going, Greg?
I graduated to expert.
Oh
It's
yeah,
unbelievable.
it is.
I feel so
I mean,
good.
you are a bona fide Notre Dame expert.
Wow.
All the Golden Irish fans out there, I think, should do themselves a service and follow you on Twitter or follow all your articles on uhnd.com because Greg knows what's going on.
I do have
He's in the mix with the Fighting Irish.
I do have an some may say unhealthy um following of Notre Dame football. I'm bordering on obsessive.
But if you help other fans learn about your obsession, is it no longer unhealthy?
I'm happy to toe the line. I'm happy to walk on the line of just being a little bit ridiculous.
Here's how I'm going to think about it for you. Imagine there's some incoming freshman at Notre Dame who doesn't know anything about football, and he's hitting Google just to get some acceptance from his dorm mates, and he stumbles upon Greg Flamong. And Greg, you're guiding him through the wilderness to get Notre Dame football acceptance. So altruistic.
I like it. I'm selfless in this story, so I'm taking it.
All right. So it is, like I just said, incoming freshman. It's the start of football season. And this is our intro podcast where we talk about key players on the squads, new faces on the squads, what's going to happen next year, how we feel, what we think, all our hopes and dreams. And, before they get dashed, before the season starts. And so why don't we just start with a big, overarching picture. Greg, what are you thinking about Notre Dame for 2017?
So it's hard to say because I've been so much of usually what happens is you have an idea of how this season will go based in part on the way the previous season went. So you look at last season, you look at coming back, and you say, okay, I can make a prediction off of this. What is going on over there?
That's me rustling my notes.
My goodness, be a professional. Anyway, so Notre Dame obviously last year they were 4-8 and they were terrible, one of the worst teams in my lifetime, and so naturally. And I've seen it a lot in just the way that people talk about Notre Dame. It's oh, I'll be happy with 8-4. And I look at it a little bit different just because in writing a bunch of, off-season articles and things, I've looked at a bunch of stats and looked at a bunch of numbers and you figure out things about the team. And there are so many things last year that went wrong just from a process standpoint. So the strength program was terrible. The dynamic with the coaches was terrible. You had the quarterback competition, which was toxic. And then you had a lame duck defensive coordinator who got fired after 4 games. So I feel
none of that will happen again.
Right. So they have a new strength program and they have a new staff. They have all new coordinators and they have, they don't have a quarterback competition this year. So you feel all that intangible stuff that you can't take care of, or that you can't really, I don't want to say take care of, but you can't really control, or they couldn't control and wasn't in control last year. Now that's all handled, so you feel okay, everything's kind of back at square one. So I don't look at this season as will they improve off of a 4-win team? I kind of look at them as a 6 or 7-win team. So can they improve off of the 7 wins that I think that they would have gotten if not for all the other hocus pocus? And the other thing about that is they were 1-7 last year in games decided in 1-score games, which is pretty rare. I mean, usually you'd end up around 500 in that kind of situation. So if you just add 3 and take away 3, you're sitting there at 4-4. So, you're looking at 7-5 instead of 4-8. So that's kind of how I look at it.
All right, that's a fair way for a fan to look at it.
Yeah. So right now, I feel 8-4 Like that would be a disappointment. Like that would be bad. Like they have better than an 8-4 roster, but they are bad at like positions that I'm not like you don't want to be bad at. So like I don't know what's going on with their defensive line, specifically like in the middle, like their defensive tackles. Like it's a concern of mine.
Well, before we get there,
okay,
you said something that piqued my interest, got my wheels going. And Brian Kelly, the coach, the man at the top, he had his big article the other day, and I don't even remember where it was, Sports Illustrated, USA Today, something like that. And do you think that he might be 1 foot out the door? This is a big season for him, and if things go bad, he's probably done, right?
I don't know. I mean, there is a scenario for which he is fired, and I just don't know what it is. Like if they went 4-8 again, he'd be fired.
Yeah.
I think if they went 5-7, he'd probably be fired. 6-6. I mean,
it depends on the 6-6, right? Like
yeah, it kind of does.
A dumpster fire.
I feel like with everything that they did this year, I don't think they're looking to fire him. Like I think that they think this is at least a 2-year thing.
Yeah, but he had his quotes where, well, what was it? I was spending too much time with boosters and, trying to wash his hands of the whole situation last year. I don't know. I think my faith in Brian Kelly might be rattled.
I mean, well, first of all, it should be very rattled. Like my faith in him is incredibly rattled. Just that he let it happen. Like I don't like. Look, there's reasons and there's excuses, and like there are reasons that they only won 4 games last year. Okay, and him saying like I spent too much time like with boosters or just basically doing anything outside of what I should have been doing. Like that's a reason, but it's not an excuse. Like it can't happen. And like if that sort of thing is going to happen at a school like Notre Dame in your 7th season, like you should probably lose your job. So, I mean, I understand why they didn't, and we went through it last year. Like there just weren't a lot of good coaches or whatever. But so like to me, it's more indicative. It's just a bad program. Like he ran a bad program, and
why will that change?
Right, and can he turn it around? Maybe. Like all he's done really with all these changes that he's made is just giving them a chance.
Yeah, he brought in basically new guys, right? Like an offensive coordinator, defensive coordinator, strength coach.
Yeah, like last year, basically what they did was they tried to take a bunch of tests without studying. Like as an analogy for kids in college or high school or whatever. It's like, yeah, if you don't lift weights and you have a bad quarterback competition and you're not working on like fundamentals and tackling and just scheme all the time, like if you're not doing those things, that's akin to trying to take a test without really having studied and knowing the material as well as you can. And of course you're going to fail. Like you don't even have a chance. But like if you go into a class and you study and you do all the other things, that doesn't guarantee you'll get an A, but it gives you a chance to be successful. So that's all that's happened here. Like all they have now is a chance.
Do you believe in the chance that new offensive coordinator, new defensive coordinator bring the team?
I do to an extent. Like they didn't change coordinators and do all those things, and then all of a sudden they're going to be like undefeated. Like I think they could win 10. Like that's I don't want to say the ceiling, but if that happened, I wouldn't be like, wow, I did not expect that. Like if they won like 11, I'd be pretty surprised. But yeah, 10-2, 9-3. Like I feel like that's in play. But the reasons that they don't win 11 or they don't win 12 is because Brian Kelly isn't really that great of a coach.
All right.
So that's how I feel about it. But I'm excited. Like I feel like there's a lot of good players. Like I feel like this team is like people are going to be surprised because they were so bad last year, and they're like, wow, like what a turnaround. Like I think they're gonna look a lot better. And it's like, yeah, I mean, they're trying now.
They can't look much worse.
Right. I mean, they're just, they fell apart in every game last year. Like, they're losing games. They won they were winning like 24-7 or like 20-0. And you're losing games like 14-0 at home, and you're losing. So, but that's what happens when you have
last year, yeah.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say last year they had 2 quarterbacks who had a game experience, sort of, and now they have 1 quarterback with none.
Yeah.
Brandon Wimbush. Can he do it? Do you believe in him?
I do. I think he's going to be good.
I disagree with you.
Oh my! Let's hear it. Yeah. I want to hear it.
I think he'll be fine. I think in college football in 2017, his stats will be fine. The RPOs they're trying to run. I saw the acronym RPO a ton.
Oh yeah, it's in play.
RPO left and right in every sentence. My concern is he's just gonna be average, and I don't think at Notre Dame he can be average. I think he needs to get last year and to persevere through the season this year. He needs to be borderline great, and I think he's too boring. I don't think he's quite good enough. Doesn't have any experience. It's a new system. It's a bunch of guys learning a new system, not new guys and new system. I don't know. I'm not buying into Brandon Wimbush.
Okay, everything you just said, like, what are you basing that on?
Just reading some things here. Here's a great one. Let me pull up this little quote here on Brandon Wimbush.
I want to hear the quote.
This is from. Actually, this is what I hate about football. Honestly.
Okay.
So this is from Chip Long. Okay. This is the first paragraph. This is from Irish 24/7. This is from I think yesterday actually. There are a lot of people hyping up Notre Dame quarterback Brandon Wimbush as the next big thing. Offensive coordinator Chip Long isn't one of those people. It gets better. Sure, Long knows that Wimbush is extremely talented, but his stars in quotes, signal caller, hasn't started a game yet. Sure, Wimbush looks terrific in practice. However, the lights haven't come on yet inside Notre Dame Stadium. We'll see exactly what he can do on September 2nd. Here's the part that really gets me. That said, Long couldn't be more impressed with Wimbush's work ethic, demeanor, and ability to lead. Ugh. It's just terrible. It's like he's just a boring guy. It's all just platitudes. It's all just ugh. And that's what you can come up with the first paragraph on your starting quarterback? Come on, give me something. Give me something to work with.
I mean, look,
I know everyone's tempering. I get it.
But that's the problem on the part of the writer.
Yes, that's why I said I hate football. That was part of the original. Like that's common football. Like let's be bland and we're not going to give anybody anything fun. That's just how football has become. But no, I mean you can say he's a new quarterback. Like you should be excited. And now we talk about exciting things. So what are some exciting things that maybe I missed in my research?
Exciting things about him is that he's a very good athlete. Like he's a better runner than I mean, just in terms of like athleticism.
He was the number 5 dual threat quarterback in his class.
He was number 46 player nationally. Like he was way higher ranked than any quarterback Notre Dame's had under Brian Kelly. Like that has started a game. He was higher ranked than Kaiser, Golson, and Zaire. He has a big arm. He's been accurate, which was his big problem. He is much more of a running threat than, like I said, anyone else. Like, if he's in the open field, like, he's a legitimate concern. Like, this guy, he's going to break, like, 30 to 40-yard runs if we're not paying attention.
I mean, that is his only highlight at Notre Dame is a giant run.
So right. And
you do back that up.
He's only played in, like, 2 games.
Yeah.
And he's playing anytime you have a system that is new to the school, whatever it is, like it's always hard because watching film of previous seasons does no one know any good. It doesn't do it any good because you haven't seen it. It's just like Charlie Weiss when he came in. Like he came in and like people knew what the Pats offense was, but they hadn't seen it at Notre Dame. So you can't watch film in Notre Dame. And it's like, are we going to watch the Pats play offense? It's like, are they going to do the same thing that Tom Brady's doing in like 2004? So it's like, it's hard to study that sort of thing. So they come in and all of a sudden the offense is great. And I feel like it's going to be the same kind of deal with Wimbush. Like teams just aren't really going to know. And when they get hit with stuff that they haven't seen from Notre Dame in a way that they haven't seen it, it's going to be a shock to them. And that's going to – it just basically like it's going to give him an advantage. It's like, yeah, like I haven't played a lot, but like you also haven't seen me in this offense running it this way with these players. So, I mean, he's a highly ranked guy. He has a big arm. He's shown accuracy, and he can run. Like, when is that formula not worked out in college football?
That's probably a recipe for success.
It is. So, and it's like he's playing in an offense where it's not like he's got to be like making a ton of like complicated reads. Like it's RPOs. Like you're throwing to open space, and the receivers are running to open space. Like they're not running like a complicated route tree or anything like that. You know, that's not what it is. Like you either tuck it, you either give it, you pull it, and you run, or you throw it to someone who's running wide open. Like, and he's got a ton of athletes. It's like all you got to do is throw him the ball, and it's like they're just going to be a big chunk yardage. Now,
who are those guys? Yeah. Help me through that, because that's another thing. I'm not sure if I think Wimbush may be the problem, but just as likely as these skill position players may be the problem. Seems okay, right? You got to be pretty happy with them. Josh Adams came on strong last year after the injury. I'm
not worried about the running backs.
Yeah, I wouldn't be either.
Like,
that seems like
I'm not worried about the running backs, and I'm not worried about the line. Like the line should be able to figure out. Like if they can't, then like the like everything that we're talking about here is like there's no point. Like if the strongest part of your team is not good, then
you're in trouble.
Yeah, like there's nothing really to talk about. It's like your good parts have to be good.
And almost everybody comes back on the line, right?
Right, with the exception of
right tackle.
Well, the right guard, but the right tackle is moving to right guard, so the right tackle is going to be new, and that's Tommy Crane.
Okay.
But that player is the highest rated player like on the team, like as far as recruiting ranking.
Right, like he's moving in because he's good. They're not moving into like.
Yeah, but he has had
jerry rig something.
He has had struggles in pass protection. Like that, like as we're potting right now, like they're having a scrimmage, and he's been beaten for like 2 sacks already, at least. So.
By which guys though?
Good
players or bad players?
I think 2 is Dalen Hayes.
Okay, that's good for you.
No, he's a good player. And the other ones are guys like they're backups. But I don't know that they're all on him. Like I'm just kind of reading it. I know at least 2 are on him though.
All right.
But yeah, so I don't worry about the offensive line. I don't worry about the running backs. The receivers, like
you love some of the receivers.
I love Claypool, and apparently he's having a great practice today, but he's been kind of like nondescript in the last over the fall camp, which I don't like. Like they have this guy Kevin Stepherson who scored a touchdown on Adoree Jackson last year. Like
he's fast, right?
Yeah, but I don't know what's going on with him. Like he was 3rd team in the spring, and now like he's reportedly not taking any team reps in the fall. It's like so whatever's going on with him, like I don't even count on the fact that he's gonna play next year.
Oh wow!
For this season, I don't know. Like he doesn't get reps. If you don't get reps, how can I be like, oh yeah, he's gonna be great? Equanimeous St. Brown is reportedly really good.
Yeah, he seems fine.
Yeah, they have a transfer from Arizona State, Cam Smith, who I guess has looked really good.
Not USC's Cam Smith.
Not USC.
In case anyone gets confused.
He is not the middle linebacker for USC.
Not All-American Cam Smith.
Playing wide receiver for Notre Dame. So they have Chase Claypool, who I of course love. They have Miles Boykin. They have Javon McKinley.
I feel like Chase Claypool is last year's Miles Boykin.
What do you mean?
But better. Like I feel like Miles Boykin was supposed to be the guy who's going to break out possibly, and then kind of didn't. But then the team wasn't that good anyway, so it's hard to break out when your team's going.
Yeah, like he just didn't have a lot of opportunities. Yeah. They still have CJ Sanders.
I was about to say, what happened to CJ Sanders?
He doesn't get a ton of reps either, which is weird because he's like good, but doesn't get reps. So like, I don't know if it's like a catching the ball thing or a routes thing or he doesn't know what he's doing thing. But like they have so many numbers there, I feel like someone's gonna figure it out. Like someone's gonna be out there in big moments and be able to make plays.
Another one unit we haven't talked about are there boring tight ends? Do Alize Mack, formerly Jones, Durham Smythe, any of those, the new freshmen, any of those guys?
I'm fired up for Mac. I'm fired up for the freshman. I'm not fired up.
What's the good ones? Cole Kemet, right?
Cole Kmet, he's the receiving guy. Brock Wright is the blocking guy. Apparently, like they all expect to play. I mean, Durham Smythe, like I don't know. It's been. I mean, we've seen this is his 5th season. Like, if he was good, I feel like we'd know.
Well, he's the only one to catch a touchdown out of all those guys.
It's true. It's true.
He's the only Notre Dame touchdown. Like
well, Mac didn't get to play. Mac didn't get to play last year, so
whatever.
I'm just saying. Not the point.
He's got a new last name. And
he does.
But he's more of he's a receiving guy too, right? Or
yes.
He used to be. I mean, who knows? And he's kind of hurt. Is he kind of hurt?
Who?
Alize Mack.
Yeah, he had the hamstring. So I guess it's fine now.
All right. So who's your number one star on Notre Dame's offense? Who are we going to be talking about every week?
I mean, that's not the quarterback.
Well, I don't know. You don't know. I mean, you're right. When you asked me this question about USC, I'm going to give the dumb answer too. Okay, that's not the quarterback. Yeah,
well, because like how can he touches the ball in every play? I'll say this. I mean, besides Equanimeous St. Brown, like I feel like he'll probably be the most consistent. Like he'll be taken for granted, I guess, this year.
He'll be like a better Darius Rogers.
Yeah. I mean, they're not even not really similar players, but like
always there, like always kind of making a play.
I feel like it'll be like Juju.
Okay, that's
fair. Like it's just like he'll have like 6 for 100 and a touchdown, and it'll be like like he had a good game. Okay. He didn't have a great game, quote unquote.
Like nothing stands out.
But if like another player had,
he doesn't drop the ball,
Yeah, like if like he had 6 for 100, it's like he did. But if another player had 6 for 100, it's like whoa, like I'm gonna write like 2,000 words about how that person broke out or something.
Got it.
So
that's your number 2 guy, not one of the running backs.
Yeah, I mean, I think so.
You believe in the passing part of the RPO.
Well, I feel like because of the running backs, there's 3 of them that are all going to play, and I feel like it has a good chance to be like a different person every week. Okay. Whereas like EQ is going to be the guy every single time out.
All right, now tell me about your favorite part of Notre Dame is the defense under the new defensive coordinator. What are they running first? It's some weird.
I mean, they run. It's a 4-2-5, but like the 5th player is basically a linebacker. I mean, he's playing in the box, like he's playing.
It's a safety though, isn't it?
Well,
let me ask that question better. The players we know who will be playing that position, they're safeties, aren't they?
Well, one was a safety last year.
Okay.
Drew Tranquil, but he shouldn't have been. And one is a linebacker, Asmar Bilal. So,
okay.
And plus, like that person will also be like the nickel back. So I mean, but basically, like it's like the position is coached by the linebacker coach. That to me is kind of how I know what it is.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
So where's the issue? Where's the issue if there is one on Notre Dame's defense?
So the issue is up the middle. I don't know who's going to play defensive tackle.
Not the head stomper, Jerry Tillery. He's not.
Here's the thing. He'll be there, and by the way,
unless he gets suspended,
that name of his, like that's fair, and I would think that, and I would feel like that if I was a USC fan. So you know what? It's fair, and if you're gonna like nudge someone's head with your foot when they're clearly concussed on the ground, like that's the sort of thing you have to deal with. And I'm not saying that he's a terrible human being, but when you do something like that, opposing fans are going to call you the head stomper, and that's just the way it goes.
And his football, his off the field stuff hasn't been the best. Let's just say that. I don't like besmirching people
He got suspended.
unless they
No,
really earn it.
he got suspended like the day before the Fiesta Bowl.
But didn't he
So
go to? Didn't you hate him because he went on a family vacation or something like the day before the season started? One
no, he
year.
went to and this. By the way, like I complain about this, but generally speaking, like it should not be something like seen as a negative. But he went to Ireland during the bye week.
That's what it was.
Yeah, it's like, come on, man! Like you going to Ireland? Like,
You're the starting defensive tackle on Notre Dame.
yeah, like don't leave the country. Like, think about football.
Probably shouldn't leave the campus, just to be fair.
Yeah, true. So, but it's weird. It shouldn't be bad because he went to Ireland and like did a lot of like fun things and he met with influential people. It's like, would I rather he went to like Daytona Beach and did something stupid like a college kid? So like,
I don't know. Maybe he would have got it out of his system.
It bothers me, but it shouldn't bother me because it's not fair for it to bother me. Like the head stomping thing, like that bothers me, and I think it should bother me.
Well, I can just call him the Stomper because he stomped on somebody's ankle too. I don't remember who it is off the top of my head.
Did that happen?
Oh, it was Zach Banner. I think it was Zach Banner. Right?
Oh my god!
It was the same game.
Dude, that dude. My goodness, I was very unhappy that day.
Anyways,
no, yeah. So him.
Defensive line.
There's him in the middle with another guy, Jonathan Bonner, who hasn't really played ever. And then behind those guys inside, like it's freshmen, it's other players who haven't really done anything.
I read a thing on the depth chart yesterday, I think, and it said, we're just putting in names because we have to put in names.
Yeah, like it's not anything I feel good about. And look, let's just assume that Tillery and Bonner exceed expectations, right? Let's just assume it. Well, how long do we expect those guys are going to be healthy for? Like, how long are they going to be able to play at a high level? I mean, they can't be playing.
D-linemen always get hurt.
At some point, you're just going to get dinged up, and even if you're okay enough to play, like you're going to lose your effectiveness. So, like, yeah, like for the first 6 or 7 weeks, they'll probably be fine. But then what happens when they just start to get dinged up and it's like, you know what? They're accumulating all these snaps and it's not going to work out. Then it's like you have Stanford.
Ronald Jones II comes to town.
Or that. Well, I mean, I assume like they'll get up for my general feeling on this topic is like they'll be fine into.
Well, not if they're hurt.
Well, no, if they get hurt, they get hurt. But just like general attrition, like I think like they'll be okay and they'll be fresh and they'll be good into USC. And then once USC comes and goes, like that's when
that's the test.
You're gonna start to see a drop off. Like and then you have Miami, you have Stanford, you have Navy, you have
Wake Forest.
You have all these teams where it's like at some point they're just gonna wear down. And it's like you would wear. And that's how you turn 10-win season to an 8-win season. Where it's like you had good enough players, but then they just wore out at the end of the year. And that's just the way it goes. Like that's what depth does. Like if you don't have, especially at those positions, like you can't get their butts kicked every single week and expect you're going to have the same player in November that you had in September. It's just not. This is not how it works. So that's what worries me a lot.
The D line, the rush ends. Is sophomore superstar Dalen Hayes going to pull through?
I like him. They have a plethora. See, that's the thing. Like Dalen Hayes, he's great, but the thing that's going to allow him to be great is there's players that can come in like Andrew Chumbetti or Julian Okwara or Khalid Kareem. They can come in and spell him during the season, and it's not a huge drop-off. Like, obviously, no one's as talented as him physically, but at least there are players that can come in and play, and they can, like, you can count on them to do well. So that he's not taking, like, 60, 70 snaps a game in September and October where he's just getting his butt kicked. He's going to be fresh for the whole season. And so you have a high-level player who gets to be a high-level player for the whole year. And that's the thing. Like you have Jay Hayes, you have Dalen Hayes, you have Andrew Chumbetti. You have these guys who you can just kind of rotate in.
See, this is my USC problem. It's a similar thing. I hate that all the good guys play one position. I guess Jay Hayes is the other defensive end, so it's not like
He
one
plays on the
position.
other side.
Yeah. But you know what I mean? Like we have these like 4 or 5 good defensive players. However, they're all can only play in one spot. So it's kind of like, it just bugs me. I just wish like, maybe you bounce someone out to a linebacker, but there's like 2 linebackers. So I don't know. I don't like it when you're like, oh, all these guys can do all these things. You'll hear me expand on this more when we get to USC. And it's like, oh, well, I would just like to have one good one and then like a solid backup. That'd be fine.
Yeah.
Like when you're talking about like 3 guys deep who are all good, it's like, well,
Well, I mean, there's a drop off, but it's not so stark that it's like,
Right. I know what you mean. But it's not like the defensive tackles where it's like they're half a player deep and then it's like, oh, okay.
Yeah, we might they might not even be like starter deep. Like we don't know if Jonathan Bonner can actually do it.
Yeah.
By the way, like as we're sitting here talking, I'm kind of keeping tabs on this scrimmage. So they're 3 quarters in, like they're into the 4th quarter now, and Kevin Stepherson hasn't played yet.
That's not good for Kevin Stepherson.
I mean, they got like freshmen at receiver and like walk-ons. It's like this kid isn't playing. Like,
I wonder what he did.
He's not going to be on this team. I'm telling you, there's just no way.
You heard it here first, people. I didn't see anything anywhere so far.
He's not going to be on this team. There's no way he's going to go through a whole season just not playing, and he's one of the best players on the team. And I don't know what it is. What's that?
When he played a lot last year, too.
Yeah, the guy has like 25 catches for like 500 yards, and it's like 4 touchdowns, and he's just not playing. Like, there's no way. He's not going to be on this team. I don't know what the problem is, but he will not play for this team. It's just not happening. It's August 20th, for goodness sakes.
The season's about to start, right around the corner.
Yeah, he's not playing.
All right, well, my concern about this team actually is the defense. I was just being a little extra negative about the offense, but I'm worried about the defensive backs because I don't know. I feel like they're another area of concern, as you've told me in the past. The safeties are a bit of concern, and now there's 3 of them. Nick Coleman's the new safety, right? And he used to play corner, and people would run past him. If I recall the Nick Coleman highlights.
Yeah.
Corners seem okay, actually, I guess, but it's just up the middle. Up the middle, I'm a little concerned about with the Notre Dame Fighting Irish.
You should be.
Are you bullish or bearish?
I'll tell you. Well, and I don't want to go through this whole thing because the linebackers are good.
There's only like 2 of them.
Well, no, but I count Tranquil.
Oh,
I count him, and like Bilal.
So you think he'll be a better linebacker than he was a safety?
Yes.
That's true because he played good against one of those option teams. What, Georgia Tech?
Yeah, like when he does the thing, like if you have a guy who's supposed to play linebacker and it's like, okay, now you're gonna play safety and you have to cover like deep half, like that's not gonna go good. Like that doesn't go right. Like you wouldn't put like Cam Smith or something. Like you wouldn't have Cam Smith be like, okay, play on the hash.
No. Well, he's an All-American.
Like you're taking
maybe.
Well, no, but you're taking a good player and you're making him a bad player.
Right.
Because you're not playing in position. It could be the same thing with Nick Coleman. But yeah, so the linebackers, like Niles Morgan, like he better be awesome, and I think he will be. And you got Greer Martini, you got Tavon Coney, like they have good players. So I'm not like when you say up the middle, like linebackers set, I'm not concerned about it, and they're pretty deep too, so they can withstand a couple of injuries there. Corners are good, like between Nick Watkins and Dante Vaughn, and Julian Love and Sean Crawford.
Another Greg favorite.
Love Sean Crawford. Love me some Sean Crawford. Between those 5, like they have, like I feel comfortable with any of them playing. Like you get a little drop off with Troy Pride, but
that's like the
generally
4th one.
Speaking, he's the 5th one. So like I think that they're all set. Like I'm not concerned. I don't have a huge concern there. Safety, I don't know. Jalen Elliott, he didn't look great last year. Like Devin Studsdale didn't look great. Nick Coleman didn't even play.
Who's the guy from Navy that they're trying to see if they can get a waiver for him?
Alohi Gilman?
Yeah, Alohi Gilman.
But first of all, what a great name, Alohi. Yeah. I don't know. He's going to find out this week whether or not he's going to be eligible this year. I mean, he had 76 tackles last year. That's not nothing. I haven't heard like amazing things about him in camp, but I haven't heard amazing things about any of them. So, I mean, I think they're good enough athletes to do it. It's just like, can you tackle? Can you make the plays that you need to make in order for us to be good? And I don't know. I don't know the answer. Maybe they can.
And what's the defensive coordinator's name? Mike Elko?
Yep.
He's from Wake Forest. And
yeah, and he coaches. And
he's good, right?
He specializes in coaching safeties, which gives me a little bit of optimism there. It's like, is the defensive coordinator going to let his position group stink?
No.
I hope not. So.
I mean, Pete Carroll always had good defensive backs.
He did.
And that's his specialty.
Yeah.
He still does now, actually.
Yeah. So, yeah, man.
Right.
I just
special teams. Anything we have to worry about?
I mean, Justin Yoon is back, the kicker. He had a little knee problem during the spring, but I guess he's fine now. They have a new special teams coordinator, which is nice.
Oh, no, they have a new special teams coach too? I missed that one.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. The last one was the tight ends coach also and special teams. And now he's at Nebraska, I think.
That's not good.
They were bad on special teams last year. You can make the case it cost them 4 or 5 games. A good case, too.
Yeah.
So.
Who's returning kicks?
I think CJ Sanders will do kickoffs. He's returned 3 for touchdowns. And I think Chris Fink will do punts because CJ Sanders struggled last year, not only fielding punts, but getting people away from punts that he was not going to catch. So
who's what's his name? Would you say Fink?
Chris Fink, yeah.
Who's he?
He's a slot guy. He played he played last year.
Not the brother of backup USC quarterback Matt Fink?
No, I don't think so. I mean, it could be.
Doubtful.
I doubt it as well. I feel like I would have heard that.
All right, final thoughts on the season. So they played 12 games. What do you got?
You want a record prediction?
I want a record prediction.
Yeah.
As we go into 40 minutes straight of Notre Dame football.
Yeah. I want to say 10-2. But I can't do it. The defensive line, they're just not 10-2. I'll say 9-3.
9-3. Wow.
Yeah.
I'm usually the one who believes in Notre Dame football since this is year 3 of these. This year, nope. This team will be lucky to be better than 500. I think 5 or 6 wins is where I'm putting. I'm going to go 5 just to be mean.
That hurts my feelings.
I tweeted you 4-8, so you gained a win in there.
That hurts my feelings.
I just don't believe it. They're going to win the first game and then lose a couple. I don't know. And I think the wheels fall off again. I don't know if the wheels fall off. I just think they're not that good, actually. I take that back. Last year, the wheels fell off. This year, I just don't think – I think they'll be competitive, but I don't know if they'll be able to close games out. That's my prediction.
They're going to when they play USC, they're going to have 1 loss.
Wow.
I think they'll lose. But
well, yeah.
Well, yeah, you monster.
That's implied. But
how dare you?
I don't know, man. I don't know. They always screw up against BC. I feel like that game is always tough. Okay. They get the UNC with new quarterbacks. I feel like they get a lot of teams with new quarterbacks.
Well, they did last year too.
Yeah, which is really weird because they play a lot of the same teams. But I don't know. I'm just not buying. I'm not buying. Whatever Notre Dame's still, I'm not buying.
That's cool.
I would go 10-1, 12-1. This is Brian Kelly's last season. I think this is the death blows.
You think?
Of
Wait a
Notre Dame.
second. You think it's 12-1 that it'll be Brian Kelly's last
Yeah.
season?
Maybe I can go.
But you just said they'd be 5-7. If you think they'll be 5-7, the number is definitely a lot better than 12-1.
That's true. Good point. But well, I don't know. People like to keep people around. Brian Kelly's high profile.
That dude is not going 4-8 and 5-7 and keeping his job. No way.
Depends on who's available too.
Man,
yeah, I'm not buying.
I'll make myself available.
You couldn't be worse. I'm not buying Chris Long. No, that's not his name. Is it Chip Long? Chip Long, Matt Gelko. Chris Long is the upstanding American football player, son of Howie Long. Not buying. Notre Dame, another lackluster season. Your 9 wins are crazy. But I'm glad you're the optimistic one this time.
I am. I feel good. I've looked at the stats, Michael.
You're there. I mean, you wrote the articles. You go to UNC.com.
I have.
Greg believes.
I have evidence. This is not wish casting. It is supported by evidence, my friend.
I hope I'm not eating my words here. I don't see any real stars. I see just a bunch of players, a bunch of guys, and I don't think those guys are good enough.
Okay. It's fine.
I know. Maybe Dalen Hayes, I think, is probably one of the stars, and hopefully for you, Sean Crawford. But I don't know. I don't see anyone like highlights every week. I don't know. I can't picture it in my head.
Here's the thing, Michael. Is you had like USC was trash last year until Sam Darnold started playing, and all of a sudden they were good.
Correct.
So, if Brandon Wimbush is good.
And anything's possible, as Kevin Garnett says.
The guy was, he's a top 50 recruit. Like,
that's why we play the games.
It's not like this is like a 2-star walk on. Like, it's not like Tommy Reese is trotting out there.
That's true. Accounting major Brandon Wimbush.
Yeah.
The KPMG intern himself.
All right, let's talk about your team now. Your big-headedness.
This is where the tables turn, and I'm the optimistic one.
Yeah.
I didn't even write down the schedule for this because I'm just going to go right out in front of this. National champs. I believe. I'm buying the hype. I'm buying
in what sport?
Good one.
Okay.
In football, with All-American quarterback Sam Darnold and All-American linebacker Cam Smith. I'm buying the hype. I'm buying what USC's selling. This is it. Sam Darnold's the real deal. I have my full faith in him. I have my full faith in Ronald Jones II. My full faith in the defense. Porter Gustin as the Predator. Cam Smith. Everybody. I just believe. I got it. This is the year. This is the year it all comes together. I somehow have talked myself into believing Clay Helton is a good coach. So there's that. They have the Rose Bowl win that's just going to carry over like a wave into this season.
Okay.
This is it. This is all the pieces are coming together. And if they can't do it this year, I don't know where my optimism is going to go next year. But so I just believe in Sam Darnold, man. He always gets it done. He's always gotten it done. Granted, small sample size. So there's that. But there's not many people better than him. Quarterback's the most important position. And he just guts wins out in the fourth quarter of the Rose Bowl. I mean, they needed it the most, and that was him. He was a redshirt freshman back then. Now he has all the camp under his belt. He's worked with all these guys. He's got the full confidence of the coaching staff, the city, and it's time. It's Sam Darnold time.
Michael, I don't know if you know this, but USC lost the Jim Thorpe Award winner for the best defensive back in all of college football. Does that concern you?
It does not. Actually,
it does not.
One of my hot takes, we can just hop on it now. So my one piece of concern, I have zero faith in Jack Jones. I want the world to know now. I hope I'm wrong. I think Jack Jones might be just hype.
Is it because he looked kind of lost in the Rose Bowl? Is that why?
That is not helping. The fact that when they needed him the most, he almost lost the game for them. If that Penn State quarterback knew how to find open receivers.
Yeah.
Yeah, no. He's just this guy's talking about playing offense. It's like, buddy, you should worry about being the starting corner. This guy's talking about he's going to be the return man. I heard he fumbled some kickoffs here and there. It's just I just don't buy it.
Those are the easy ones too.
Yeah. Like, there might need to be a little humbling for Mr. Jack Jones. And normally, I'm all about being brash and believing in yourself. But in this one particular instance, I am selling Jack Jones.
Just mix in some humility there.
Just take him. And I hope I'm wrong, because allegedly he's like a star athlete. He's great with the ball in his hands, which is weird because, you're a cornerback, so the ball really shouldn't be in your hands. Like, I don't want that to be my selling point on my corners. So yeah, but Jack Jones, not buying. Anyway,
I'll say this for Jack. I'll say this for Jack Jones. You know how I watch those like one-on-one videos from like
the opening thing was the summit. What's it
called?
Yeah.
The opening is what it's called.
That's it. Yeah.
He was unbelievable in high school.
I'm sure he could be. I'm sure.
No, he was like no one. Maybe like one person caught a pass against him.
Good for him.
Yeah, I hope he was good then. I don't know about now, but he was. Anyway, let's go into how much you love your team.
Let's just stay with the defense for the moment. Well, and just talk more about Sam Darnold.
This is such a turn. I want to go back. I want to go back to last year at this time for this podcast. Like, what did you predict? Like 7-5, 6-6?
I think so. It might have been. Yeah, it might have been. I think it was 7-5.
And now just national champs. Don't even look at the schedule. I don't even need the schedule. Don't want it. Don't need it.
But look, last year I said Sam Darnold should be the starting quarterback.
I don't mind it. Like, look, take your opinion and go with it. Like, I don't care. It's fine. Own it though.
I'm owning
okay.
it. I said last year that Sam Darnold should be the starter. Everyone says he's magic. If he's magic, he should play. And he proved once he started that he was the guy. So I'm just doubling down on Sam Darnold. And hopefully I can keep doing it.
Okay.
Yeah, no, last year I didn't believe in this team at all. But this is a year older, Ronald Jones II, who's a little heavier, and the dreadlocks are back. So
love that.
Not only is he physically better, he's stylistically better.
Need the dreads.
And then, running back, they got Aka Cedric Ware. He's the do-it-all backup. And then true freshman Stephen Carr, who everyone just can't stop talking about in the spring, which is great to have just a little fire back there pushing people. But, yeah, I said this on the I think the spring podcast we had. I don't know. That even if Sam Darnold falters a little bit because maybe the receivers aren't quite there, I think Ronald Jones II is there. I think he's one of the best tailbacks in the nation. I mean, this is one of the best backfields in the nation. That's fact. That's not even an opinion.
Yeah, I'm not going to push back on that.
Yeah.
You know how I feel about him.
There is one thing I don't like, and this actually good thing you brought up last year because this kind of teeters on that. Is USC doesn't have a depth chart. They came out of these fall practices? I don't know what they call this. And they don't have a depth chart. Like It's just like, nope, we're not putting anything out. Sorry. So it's a little weird. So no one knows who the starting receivers are. As of the last practice, the starting receivers were Dante Burnett, Jalen Green, and Steven Mitchell, which is a little weird because that's none of the new young guys' names. So that's a little worrisome because you'd hope someone would have popped up by now.
What's up with
I always see pictures of
Go ahead.
Tyler Vaughns?
Yeah, what's up with him?
I always hear about him. He's making good catches or juking people, scoring touchdowns in practice.
And Trevon Sidney, what's that story?
I think he got hurt a little bit. So
oh, did
he? Yeah, he might be a little setback, just a hair.
Okay.
And there's a bunch of guys though, and there's a new freshman, Joseph Lewis, and Michael Pittman Jr. He's always making big catches in practice. Velus Jones, he's supposed to be the fast one. He's like the slot receiver of the group.
Okay.
So there's just too many of them. But it's weird that since there's so many, none have displaced former quarterback Jalen Green and returning from knee injury Stephen Mitchell. So that's a little worrisome.
I don't understand the Jalen Green thing. I don't. I've never thought he was good.
No, I don't even think he gets like stats. I could pull him up probably.
Like
there's no point. I don't remember
in the
one
game.
big Jalen Green play.
When I see that he's lined up, like that makes me happy.
Unless it's a quarterback pass or a wide receiver pass.
Well, no, because then it's like I feel like it's one of those things where it almost takes the surprise away. And then I say that even though they put him in the game and they hit like a 90-yarder against Notre Dame, which is weird. But like, it's like if he's in, like, you got to be thinking like, okay, if they swing it to him, he might be throwing the ball. I just don't think he's good.
Well, apparently people think he's good because
maybe he just he got better at it when he wasn't when he was like a couple years when he was a couple years removed from trying to be a quarterback.
Maybe, but he never messes up. He's very short-handed. He's very he knows the plays, especially if he's the quarterback. So like you stick him out. He's a good blocker. I heard I saw somewhere they were talking about wide receivers blocking, and that's big for the coaching staff. It's like, get out of here. Just run fast and catch touchdowns. Okay. Like you got Sam Darnold blocking. You got Sam Darnold and Ronald Jones the second. Just make some space for him. Make some space for the players to play. Tight end should be good for the Trojans. They got Daniel Imatorbhebhe back. Oh, and his brother Josh is another wide receiver, but I think he's a little banged up too.
Imatorbhebhe, what a name.
Yeah, he got a bunch of touchdowns last year. Darnold likes him. So I think more of that this year. Then there's a tall freshman kid named Kerry Angeline who is like the goal line specialist, which is really fun to think of, like a 6'7" tight end just posting up on people trying to catch touchdowns. Hopefully that happens. So, I believe in Sam Darnold. Sam Darnold was sacked the fewest times in the Pac-12 last year, I believe. Adjusted for starting as well, or for games played.
Got it.
Or snaps, probably adjusted for snaps would be the smarter way to say that.
Got it.
Offensive line gives me a little pause. So hopefully that sack rate last year was because Darnold is such a great athlete. Kind of like the Peyton Manning, right? He gets the ball out so fast, so he gets a lot of pressure out of his offensive line. Maybe Sam Darnold's so good back there that Toa Lobodon, Chris Brown, Nico Fala, Viane Talamavio, and Chuma Ejua can stack up. That's the starting line. And like I said, there's no depth chart, so it's unclear where some of those guys are playing. Okay. Lobodon could be the left tackle, or the center. Nico Fala could be a center or a tackle, maybe even a guard. Ejua is the only one, I think. Ejua and Chris Brown. So Chris Brown's the left guard, and Ejua is the right tackle. Those are like the only two solid guys.
Is Western Michigan their first game?
Yes, Western Michigan is the first game.
Okay.
Yeah.
I asked that because
they lost their best player and their coach. So that's a nice start.
Well, I asked that because I don't understand like this secrecy when we're all going to see against Western Michigan. And it's not like Western Michigan needs, you need that edge against whatever they're throwing.
Oh, I didn't finish my point, actually. Thanks for saying that. So anyways, like you mentioned, Clay Helton, we couldn't pick a starting quarterback. It's weird that they don't have a depth chart. That was where I was going with that.
Yeah.
Before, it's like, come on, guy. Like, just put some names on a piece of paper. It's not that hard. You know who they're good. Well,
it's like, I don't understand. Like, and aren't all the practices open?
Yeah. I mean, people know. People are, like, tracking. So that's why it's weird. Like, this week was the week that the seniors became the wide receivers. It was like, oh, that's weird that going into the spring, practices for the games, that all the old guys are out there.
Oh.
Whereas, all spring or fall, you hear Michael Pittman and Tyler Vaughn's doing stuff.
Weird.
Yeah, I don't like it. But whatever. You have Sam Darnold and Ronald Jones.
Yeah.
Good goof around with all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, full faith in Sam Darnold, full faith in the running backs.
Not full faith in the line.
Not full faith in the line. And I'm hoping somebody breaks out. Who am I thinking? Besides Sam Darnold?
You thinking about the star?
Yeah, I mean it's just not fair because Ronald Jones is
I
so
was
good.
gonna say there's kind of an obvious one.
It's like pretty much it. So
Yeah.
I don't know who else breaks out. I don't know. I feel like the receivers might be a little down this year.
Okay.
It's gonna be a lot of catches spread out between a lot of guys. So I don't know if there'll be a star receiver, even though everyone's kind of happy about Deontay Burnett and he had the great Rose Bowl and him and Darnold are buddies. But I think it's going to be a lot of guys catching a lot of passes, which
Clay Helton was worried about that, right?
Yeah, yeah. What did he say? I don't remember his quote.
It was just like that was the season, like the chemistry between Darnold and the receivers. That was like kind of the key to the season. Didn't he say that?
So yeah. So let's see, as the practices started in the fall, interceptions were a bit of an issue. But as they went on, interceptions became less and less. So that's a good trend.
Mm.
They're trending, and allegedly, I think the running backs never fumbled. Going around in like scrimmages, running backs never fumbled.
Uh-huh.
So I mean, hey, that's a weird. I wouldn't even tell people that if it were my team. I wouldn't want that getting out there. That's just bad. That's just bad. Because a couple is fine, it's gonna happen. But 0, that's weird. So yeah. So offense, I'm fully in. Now defense, just as sold on the defense.
Okay.
There were times in practice where people were a little worried about the offense, but they were going against the first team defense.
Oh my!
And yeah, I think these guys might be legit. We're talking going back to the days of Clay Matthews and Brian Cushing and Ray Malaluga and those squads. I think
you're talking like right 2008 there. Style.
Oh yeah, Dallas Starks, Keith Rivers. I mean, I think Nwosu, Porter Gustin, and Cam Smith are the real deal.
Okay.
I'd put them against anybody.
You should feel good about them.
Those three guys, I think, are the real deal. I think Nwosu he is the unheralded star of the defense. Like he's the glue guy. Like, you know how like basketball teams have the guy that just gets rebounds and plays defense?
Oh, yeah.
Like, he's that guy. Like, he's just going to never be out of position. He's going to make a ton of tackles.
And, like, he knows his role.
Knows his role. Yeah, he's not going to try to be – I mean, he'll be a star because he's good.
Right.
But, yeah, I think, Cam Smith is the All-American. Cam Smith is probably going to win an award somewhere. But Nwosu is going to be the glue. He's going to hold that defense together. Porter Gustin allegedly got somehow more athletic. I don't know how players do that over the offseason. So Predator, Porter Gustin, is primed for the national spotlight.
I just want you to know that I could have made an unfounded accusation, and I didn't, Michael.
I mean, I could just say he's following in the footsteps of Clay Matthews and Brian Cushing.
who also miraculously became, quote unquote, more athletic in their 4th season in college.
Whatever. Yeah, he's just training hard. He's training hard. He's working out. He knows his role in the system as the Predator. He's got all the way Batiku and Connor Murphy breathing down his neck.
No, I'm not hating on the kid.
I know.
I'm not hating on him. I'm just making a joke for my friend.
Thank you. We appreciate it.
You hurt my feelings with the 5 and 7. So now I'm just.
You didn't expect it. I know.
I'm reeling a little bit.
I was keeping it close to the vest.
That hurt my feelings. I have to admit.
So similar to Notre Dame, USC's defensive line is nothing to brag about. May actually start a true freshman at nose tackle. Okay. So that's either great or terrible. I don't know. The other guys, they're all just interchangeable. The whole D-line is just interchangeable. Rasheem Green, you know him from last year. Christian Rector's a guy who's going to play a lot, all the spots. Josh Fatu will play. Malik Dorton, like Kenny Bigelow. He's like all names you've heard before if you follow USC football. So it's just going to be just, rotate in and rotate out. Depends on the situation. Depends on the play calling of the other team. I don't know. I think they'll be okay, especially because the linebackers are so good behind them. But, anything – they're a little thin too is another problem with the defensive line. There's not a lot of them. So
okay.
Could be an issue. Could just, putting it out there. Could be an issue. Who else? Who else? So now you asked me about the loss of Adoree Jackson earlier, who ran a punt for back for a touchdown the other day for the Tennessee Titans.
Yeah, they got called back.
It was whatever. He still looked fast, which was nice.
He did. He looked very fast. And he looked a lot bigger too, which is weird.
Well, he's wearing Reggie Bush's number 25.
He was.
Which I thought was a nice homage. Anyways, I think Iman Marshall might have actually been the better corner last year anyways, like nuts and bolts, technique-wise. I think we broke it down. It was the thrown at. He was thrown at more and had less completions than Adoree. He just didn't have those, fumble recoveries and punt returns for touchdowns, which is very important for Thorpe Award voters. So, yeah, Iman Marshall primed to be the breakout star. Let's see. Ajini Harris, who you Notre Dame fans remember.
I do.
Is the nickelback. And who's the other corner? So the other corner is my guy, Jack Jones.
Your boy.
Now, a fun thing, though, is Dominic Davis, who you noticed I didn't mention at tailback. Because it's pretty stacked. They moved him to corner. Because corner's a little thin. Yeah. He's one of the fastest guys on the team. So they're just going to stick him out in corner and see what happens.
Wait.
He played in high school.
What number was he last year?
Like 16, I think.
Oh, okay. All right. I'm thinking of the wrong person. All right. I was thinking of Justin Davis. That's right.
No, Justin Davis, I believe, is either a Raider or a Raven.
Yeah, that's why I was totally confused. I was like, wait, he's on the team and now he's playing corner?
Yeah, no.
Okay. All right, continue.
No.
Sorry.
Yeah, it's Dominic Davis. He was the fast running back. He's like the swing back, catch swing passes. And he could never really find his role because backfield stacked. So they moved him to corner. That could be fun. Safeties, who Greg loved, Marvell Tell, back. I think they're all strong. They're all names you've heard before again. Chris Hawkins, Matt Lopes, and there's a new guy,
I'd take him. I'd take him.
All these guys have played before. They're all fairly interchangeable, so it's nice to have 5 guys who can play safety and know the system. So if it's a run-heavy team, you maybe put an extra linebacker in there, and the safeties know what to do. If it's pass-heavy, put another safety back there for pass protection. They're 3 corners deep, sort of. So it's good. I think they got a lot of options, got a lot of looks, a lot of players, and a lot of experience. I like it. I back this defense. I think they're going to be really good.
Okay.
There may actually, another fun part of the defense is for the first game against Western Michigan, they may have true freshman Levi Jones start at the other inside linebacker.
Huh.
So that'll be fun.
Huh.
So it might be 2 true freshmen starting right up the middle for the Trojans, which once again can either be really good or really bad. My hunch is, since it's Clay Helton, it'll be the more established guys who play. But Levi Jones has been making plays in practice, so he's going to get a lot of time at I guess it's weak side linebacker. I don't know. I don't know quite how it works in the Predator 5-2 scheme. You know what's weird, actually? Yeah, you had me thinking of it when you were talking about Notre Dame. It's weird that Notre Dame's extra DB is like a linebacker guy.
Yeah.
But then USC's extra DB is a corner. Like, it's just weird how some teams work it out, like how they describe it to themselves.
Yeah.
And I guess it's
Notre
Dame or USC's extra lineman is really a linebacker. So it kind of all gets shifted. Whereas Notre Dame has 4 true defensive linemen.
Yeah.
But it's just funny. It's like, oh, this is our rover. It's like, oh, this is our our predator.
This is our predator.
Yeah. It's just like, oh, come on, guys. It's like a tweener position.
This is our buck. This is our alien position. So
what do you think about USC's defense?
Their defense. I don't really know. I am gonna push back a little bit on your national champions.
Well, you have to.
Just philosophically. Well, no, I don't have to. If I thought it, I would say it. Just philosophically. So your team, just listening to you, your team has 2 concerns, 2 units that concern you. One is the offensive line, and the other is the defensive line. Now,
Which Alabama doesn't have that problem ever.
Well, not just Alabama, like no team that no team that has won the national championship has had that, like lately, has had that problem. I will say that the closest team probably to that was your team in 2005. I mean, they didn't win the national title, but they were the best team in college football. Their defense wasn't like they had a good offensive line, but their defensive line wasn't that great.
Yeah, that was Frosty Rucker and that crew.
Yeah.
Lawrence Jackson might have been like a sophomore or something.
Yeah, so it's happened. I mean, that would concern me. Like I'm a Lions guy, so like if you tell me my offensive line is good and my defensive line is good, I think my team is good. If you tell me they're both the shakiest parts of the team, I'd be a little concerned.
Okay.
But then I did pull up your schedule, and it is hot garbage.
Hey, you can't play Washington every year. You can't play Oregon every year.
Yeah, apparently you can't play the teams in your conference. I mean, it's just like unbelievable. So you start out with Western Michigan, then you play Stanford, then you play Texas. The Texas game is kind of iffy for you.
But new coach, I feel like that's helpful for USC.
That's what I mean, new coach. I feel like it's helpful for not USC.
It's at the Coliseum.
It's at the Coliseum, which is good, but you're playing I almost guarantee that Texas isn't like opening with like a tough schedule.
Probably not.
But then it's like you have Cal, you have Washington State, you have Oregon State, Utah at home.
I mean, Notre Dame on the road might be like the third toughest game, maybe the second toughest game.
Yeah, I mean, you might not play a ranked team on the road this year.
Yeah.
I mean, I think Notre Dame will be ranked, but they might be the only one. At least you don't have a bye in between.
Oh, yeah, no buys this week.
No buys this year?
No buys this season for you. No, not one buy for USC. So that's what I see.
Wow.
Thanks.
I mean, there's enough like Utah is tough. Notre Dame is kind of tough. Yeah, I mean, at Arizona State, I don't know anything about them. I mean, just looking at it, like you need to be concerned about Stanford and Texas.
At Colorado could be a touch.
I don't know. I mean, I doubt it. They had their season, and that was all fun and games.
Yeah.
So here's the thing: Texas schedule. So the key is you play a team like that. Yeah, see, they open with Maryland at home, which I expect to win, and then they play San Jose State. So, like, more than likely, Texas is going to be 2-0 playing you guys, and they're going to be feeling like they're good. That'll be a tough game. I mean, could USC go like 11-1 and make it? Yes, because then if they played in the Pac-12 title game and won, then they'd be 12-1.
And probably beating Oregon or Washington.
Do people think Oregon's good?
Yeah, they're always like hanging.
I don't have a good feel for that.
Yeah,
I mean, I don't think he's good at football, but I mean, he's not bad, but it's like, they have Royce Freeman.
He's not like Heisman or anything.
So, yeah, I mean, any team that, like I said, if you're not good up the middle on either side, like if I was you, I wouldn't worry so much about the offensive line.
Yeah, but it's just weird that they don't have positions. That's the only weird part.
Yeah, like I wouldn't be like, I don't remember USC and feeling like their line is trash. Like
the freshmen are supposed to be good too.
Yeah, I feel like they always turn out a good line. The defensive line, on the other hand, like I would be worried about that for the same reason I'm worried about Notre Dame's.
Rasheem Green started last year, and if this freshman kid is any good, is worth a salt, then that could turn out fine.
But see, the freshman thing though, like, is he going to be good over? Like, he'll be good for the first few weeks, but it's like, I mean, is he going to be able to just be good for 13 weeks in Division I football?
It's not like Ndamukong Suh's strapping up. Right, I get it.
Yeah, right. So I mean, that's what would concern me. It's hard for me to predict a loss on there.
Because that nice and soft schedule.
Yeah, like I just don't see like they're like that game right there is an obvious toss up. Like I just don't see it. So like I don't see more than one loss. But if it's true what you're telling me and that defensive line is a weakness, like I feel like you can't get away from that. Like they're going to lose to at least one team. I just don't know which one it is.
Yeah, just pick one. Yeah, I think they're too good. They can work through their problems.
Yeah. I mean, do you have a team that's good enough on defense to where if you're gonna exploit them, like if a team can exploit USC's defense, like are they good enough on their own defense to keep Sam Darnold down? I guess
probably not.
So I don't know.
So what do you think? Objectively, 11-1.
I would say 11-1.
I like it.
That's what I would say. I don't think they're good. I don't think they're good enough. And like also like are we sure Clay Helton's a good coach? That's another one.
I mean, Dabo Swinney won a national title, and his name is
Well,
Dabo.
yeah, but I mean, it's like he also had multiple years where it's like they blew a game.
True.
It's like in 2014
they almost blew the national title.
Exactly. I mean, in 2014 they had a great team, and then Jameis Winston came in. Or no, 2013 they had a great team, and then Jameis Winston came in and beat them by like 100. So, yeah, I don't know. I mean, luckily USC doesn't play Florida State this year with Jameis Winston going to be the Heisman Trophy winner.
It does work out well for the Trojans.
So, yeah, I would say 11-1. There's a loss in there somewhere.
I disagree. Riding high all season. Sam Darnold.
I mean, you can't sit there and tell me like it doesn't matter if our offensive line and defensive line are iffy because we have Sam Darnold. Like you can't tell me that. I don't know about that, man.
That's the number one pick. That's the Davey O'Brien Award winner. This is the Johnny Unitas Award winner. Possibly the Heisman Trophy winner. You're talking about.
All right. I mean, they don't play anyone who's good, so I guess that helps.
Disrespect of Sports Illustrated putting Baker Mayfield as the All-American quarterback will not go, unaccounted for this season.
Maybe they don't like that Sam Darnold's talking about coming back next year. Maybe they're holding it against him.
Who would do such a dumb thing like that?
I don't know.
would want players to not come back. That's crazy. Well, I'm glad we're in agreement about the USC Trojans and their schedule. Are there any other fun USC notes? Oh, the Notre Dame note. They're getting a new uniform this season for their Navy game. I saw that today.
True.
Which looks just like their old uniform, but people are excited about it. Oh, USC got practice uniforms. Or got walkthrough uniforms. I don't know if other schools have that.
What does that even mean?
It's like a compression shirt with your number and like some light padding on the shirt. And it's a walkthrough jersey. Yeah, that's big time.
It's pretty big time.
I don't know if you can buy those at the new Target or Trader Joe's in the Student Center.
Probably not.
Spare
no expense.
There's no expense. I think that's it for fun news. So what? The next time the people hear us, it's previews for Western Michigan and Temple.
That's right.
I can't wait to
find
out about Temple football.
Oh yeah.
I can't wait to find about Western Michigan football. Let's see. You could find Greg at uhnd.com. He writes copious articles about Notre Dame. You can also find him on Twitter What's your Twitter, Greg?
At Greg2126.
Someone interact with Greg on Twitter. He's there to answer your questions.
I love it.
He knows a lot. He's a gracious host, and I want to see some Twitter interaction with the fans. We had enough fans for a mailbag. Somebody tweeted Greg.
Tell me stuff. I'm ready.
Yeah, he's ready. I'm Michael Muto on Twitter. Now the season's starting. I gotta fire it back up a little bit.
Let's do it.
Let Keck Medical School know they followed a quality Twitter user. And the podcast will be on Tilting Ground. It'll be on wherever you can find podcasts. We're back to our weekly schedule.
Yeah.
Hopefully they drop every Monday. There might be a hiccup one weekend. We're not sure. Can't wait for a great season. Can't wait to do season 3 of this, Greg.
I'm fired up.
Then let's go on our college football journey. Fight on.
Go Irish.
All right.